For me, I think it's just a number like 20, 30, 40, 50. When we were a lot younger, we used to look at people who were like 40, 50, like they were just a quarter to the grave. I'm going at 40, I'm going to be 50, like you go with very lot of respect, but I think it's just, we thank God for good health, we thank God for life, I don't think it's anything special. I'm grateful to have attained it, but now that I've attained it, I woke up that morning and I thought, I don't feel any different. I thought when you get to 50, you become golden or you become a lot slower, but I can still move my limbs, move everywhere. I'm grateful.
And what are the lessons that life has taught you at this point?
Most things won't go as planned. People will fail you. There will be the good days and there will be the bad days. And most times, the one you can rely on the most sometimes is yourself. Those are like the ones that pop into my head right now. And also persistence is key. If you keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again, someday the universe will realign and make a way for you. There are some things I've preached for 20 years, 15 years, and they're just coming through now. So I've learned not to be in a crazy rush. I've learned that life is about phases and processes, and like somebody explained it beautifully, one man can give 9 women, can impregnate 9 women, and within 9 months they'll all give birth. But 9 women cannot carry a baby for 1 month each and give birth to 1 baby. It's a process thing. A woman has to spend 9 months incubating a baby before it can come to full term. So it's not 1 month for here, jump to this 1 month. So it's a process thing. I've learned to appreciate and respect processes. I used to be very impatient. I used to be very over passionate and over driven, and I used to drive people to the wall, because I wanted it now. I've learned to take things a bit more easy.
Looking back, would you say that you've been able to achieve all you set out to or at what point is Kwame now?
I don't think I will ever be able to achieve all I set out to achieve. The basic reason for that is not the lack of effort or the lack of trying, but the basic reason is because every time I wake up, every day that I wake up, I have a whole new set of things I want to achieve. Every information I get about new possibilities, I recalibrate my expectations and my vision. So sometimes I think I've gone past some of the things I thought I would achieve, and I am still far away from some that I hope to achieve. So I think it's a never-ending journey, and we'll do as much as we can for as long as we can.
Business-wise, how's it been?
Well, like I said, there are good days and there are bad days. Nigeria will humble you. It humbled a whole Dangote and Otedola and the rest of them. And these are super savvy business people who we all look up to. They woke up one day, found out that the money was devalued, and they were a lot poorer in the Committee of Nations than when they went to sleep. So there are a lot of factors that humble you, no matter how well intentioned you are, no matter how you plan yourself. There are some external forces like the exchange rate we talk about, government policy, regulations, technology. So many things will combine to sometimes uplift you and sometimes bring you down. I think it's just focus and persistence. We just have to keep moving on no matter what.
Talking about business still, I know you run a TV station, you also are into other related businesses. How big is Empire?
I don't know if it's an empire because there's the investors that are probably reading this and are watching, So I don't be empire. We're just. We're trying our best, our possible best to try as much as possible to grow. So we are growing. We have about 40 new channels, and we're hoping to do more. So yes, there is growth in that direction. But we also have to understand that linear TV, which is your terrestrial TV and the NTAs and the StarTimes, the BSTV, is shrinking every day. The new generation, the Generation Z that's coming up, they do video on demand. They are not into live TV that much. My kids don't watch live TV. They're either playing video games or watching a series on Netflix or something on YouTube. That's how they consume their own media. You understand? So we have to, whether we like it or not, start looking for ways to transit beyond where we are.
So what are you thinking about that?
Well, I wanted him to get it. Okay. We are the first screen for the Generation Z are the mobile phones. That's their first screen. When we were growing up, our first screen was TV. So even in Netflix, Showmax, and the rest, they are consumed more from mobile devices now than from television. These kids want their media on the go. So any serious contender in that space has to look for how to plug into that vast and ever expanding territory, or else you'll be left out. We are working towards that direction. We are trying to create that atmosphere and create the brands, so to speak. It takes you bringing in your experience from the past and then working with young people in the present to be able to achieve them, because you need the experience also.
Let's talk about your name. Everybody calls you Kwame. So how did that nickname come out?
Well, we said it in the last interview, but we will do it again. It's a Ghanaian name for those born on a Saturday. I was born on a Saturday, and my 50th birthday also fell on a Saturday. I came to understand that every single day from January 1st to December 31st in 1971 is exactly the same date in 2021. So January 1st, if January 1st was Saturday, January 1st in 2021, 50 years later, is Saturday. So every single day is as if it just lapped and flipped. So my birthday was Saturday, 1971, and it's Saturday 2001. So it's a Ghanaian name for those born on a Saturday. I was born on a Saturday, and I was reading Children of Anansi back then in secondary school. The names were there. I think Kwesi was Sunday, I think Kofi was like a Friday or so, Kojo was like a Thursday, So when I did this, I looked at it and said, Kwame, okay. And there was this American rapper called Kwame Romain, who I liked his music and all that, and I patted myself along that. So I was already Kwame. I found another Kwame. I'm too young to understand that whole Kwame Nkrumah dynasty, but it just went from there.
So you came up with it all?
Yeah, I came up with it. It now represents, I made it represent my creative essence. So I distilled my creative essence and gave it the brand name Kwame, so that Femi Aderibe can be this quiet, unassuming guy that's in one corner.
But have you been successful to differentiate between Kwame and Femi Aderibe?
It has helped me a lot, yes. I at least to a reasonable extent. I don't think you see me in a lot of parties. I don't think you see me in a lot of events. I don't think, I live mostly in my head. I'm either at home with my kids or watching TV or creating something or strategizing, or I'm at a meeting or I'm at the office. It's just now that they say, "Oh boy, you don't turn 50, you have to carry, so you might be running into me." So, because from like 30, I kept working like a madman, and right now, unless friends start taking me out, I don't even know where to go. I don't know what to do with myself because I spend most of my time working.
Then I was also going to ask, for the last few years you've operated within the creative space, and of course it's been entertainment, music, and all of that. And I'm wondering, how did all of this start for you?
Well, I'm a Libran, so Librans are some of the most creative people in the world. They've later Babienda, DJ Jimmy Jan, MI, and so many, John Lennon. If you check the history of Librans, they are very creative people. We're a lot deep in creativity. But for me, I started rapping at an early age. I was a social prefect in my secondary school, Methodist Grammar School in Kwame, and then when I got to State University, I became a rapper, I became a dancer, I was one of the biggest MCs in school then. Then when I left, I went to serve, came back, I started doing adverts for radio presenters and DJs on OGBC too. I did some station idents for BCOS, I did for OSRC Akure, I did for OB and all that. And after a while, I said, let me go and audition and see if I can also do this. It took me 5 years and it took me 1 year and 5 auditions, in OGBC before the great Busara Life allowed me to come behind the microphone. So from there it just went. I went to Star FM, started something on TV. So I was just finding different outlets to express my creativity.
For the young people who are watching this and listening to what we see, what would be your advice to them in terms of course, they don't want to be like Kwame. They're looking for what and how to go about it. What would be your message?
Well, it's not all fun and games. That one we need to understand and be clear.
Okay. It's not fun and games.
It's not all fun and games. They think it's fun and games because they see the glitz, they see the glam, and they see the razzmatazz, they see the red carpets, they see the cars, they see the houses, they see this and that. But it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of pain. Just like any other profession anyways, but this one is a bit more amplified because you're in the public eye. And be sure that this is what you want to do. Be sure, because why I said be sure this is what you want to do is that when things don't work the way you want it to work initially, you would keep persistent because you know that there's no plan B. I want to do this. Then also be sure that you have the skills and the talent for it. If you want to be an on-air personality, you cannot be saying Mr. Moderator. Well, it can, maybe if you go into another direction and all that. But make sure that you have the skills, you have the talent for this. That is going to also sustain you because you can know this person or know that person and they get you in. But if you don't have the talent to back it up, then there's going to be a lot of problem. So, and the third one is that always try to build your network of people around you, so that there's so far that you can run, but there are other people who will help you along the way. Build strong connections and all that. The rest is just the universe aligning to help you. You can only do your own part. The universe has to also do their own part, bring in a lot of people, a lot of resources for you to achieve what you want.
In your own case, I know that during the course of your career, you've had to face so many challenges. But somehow, I've always found out that you kept going, you didn't look back, you kept on holding on to your dreams, and you kept on saying, this, I mean, you must make it work. I don't know. And I'm wondering, even though it was at an early age and all that, what gave you that inner steel to make you continue, to know that, okay, at some point, something will happen?
Well, I probably was one of those voted most unlikely to succeed in my family. I was the unserious one. I was the one with a lot of fears. You're afraid of the shadow. You're afraid of the dark. You had issues with self-esteem and stuff like that. And especially during service year. I was in Niger State, I was in Kagara. I think that was the school where they kidnapped a lot of those kids, eventually. And it was there that I was alone for the first time in my life, and I learned to face my fears. So I learned to stay in the dark, I learned to move around, I learned a lot of things, and I was like, if I can survive this place, because there was no electricity in that time then, if I can survive this place, then I can survive anywhere. And that helped to shape my mentality, because I was put in the middle of adversity. Just leaving the Southwest and for the first time, and in that space, nobody speaks your language and all that. So when I got back, I put a lot of things I learned there into practice, and all that. And as I went along, I discovered that those who really made a difference in life were not those who were jumping from pillar to post. They were people who didn't have a plan B. They were people who just kept at something all their lives, and they made something out of it. So I was determined that this thing I set out to do, I'm going to keep hitting my head against the wall. And it's either my head breaks or the wall breaks. Whichever one, but something must break. And that has been my focus all this year.
Can you tell us a bit about your private life? How were you able to balance out your career and the home front?
When I hear that question, I just laugh. You can never balance. There will always be something that suffers. Sometimes you say, I can't go out, I need to take my kids out, or I need to hang with the family, and you have something out there, but you're like, no. And sometimes you need to take care of the family, but there's something out there. So it's earlier on in our relationship, there'll be fights, there'll be this and that, but you're a media man, you understand that it's a monster and it needs to be fed daily. You have to keep feeding it daily with your presence, with hard work, with everything. You have to keep feeding it, and especially if the other party is someone that's not within that space, there will be issues. In the beginning, there will be issues, but as time goes on, they start seeing it starts becoming a normal thing, and you too start having more time in your hands, because now you have more people working with you, and you have a bigger team. You can delegate something so that you have more time. But that initial stage, it was it was grassroots.